twitch.tv/Diamondflavor. And then we have a Witchfire gameplay here. Yeah, I heard about this game quite a while back, like the quick trailer of it. Kind of like it looks like a Van Helsing. Witch hunting basically. So very cool. I'm excited to see a longer gameplay trailer here. The aesthetic of the game was interesting, and the gameplay, it's like a FPS magic, Van Helsing Inquisitor kind of game. So I'm excited to see and to know more about the gameplay and how everything will work. Let's check this one out.
A war rages between the witches and the remnants of humanity ruled by the church.
All right,
in a
sounds
distant territory controlled
so
by
far.
one of the witches, papal scouts have discovered a wreckage of a ship that had been lost for several centuries.
Okay.
It carried a valuable artifact, one that could alter the course of the conflict.
As you normally do.
To recover it, the Vatican has dispatched one of its best witch hunters.
Oh, the
Only
actual
he
Vatican
can face
ship.
the witch by means of his powerful magic. Hunters like him are called prayers, and the substance running through his veins that gives him arcane powers is known as Witchfire.
Okay, so the title of the game, alright.
When you reach your destination, you're completely exhausted. There's very little Witchfire left in your blood. One of the first things you must do is replenish your powers.
So I know you absorb the souls or
fastest way
something?
to do it is to fight the witch's minions,
Yeah, there you go.
ghouls and wraiths. Once they're dead, the Witchfire they were made of will be yours.
The dodge movement seems really good.
However, this won't be an easy prey.
I'm glad more games are incorporating that.
The world of Witchfire is a place where everything is trying to kill you. Monsters prowl the area. Treasure chests turn out to be deadly traps.
The gun design seems really cool so far.
Contraptions stay hidden from view. If you waste bullets, ignore your stamina, and take your opponents for granted, you will die. And this can happen in a myriad more ways. Getting killed means that you lose all your loot, although it's possible to recover it.
Okay,
and the monsters
shit.
you've eliminated come back from the dead. What's even worse, once the witch senses the powerful intruder who hasn't died so far, she will start throwing deadly curses at you, called the Calamities. These can raise the dead
So
from
like
their graves,
the longer you
or
stay alive, it
conjure
gets
a
harder?
fog to unleash a hunt for your soul. She will stop at nothing to drive you out of her realm. And if this doesn't work and you still brazenly cling to life, amassing more power and a greater arsenal, then the witch will dispatch new types of minions and set traps the likes of which you have not seen.
Holy shit, okay, let me pause it here real quick before we continue. So the vibe I'm getting from this is like, so you have the standard, if you die, you drop your souls. Or I guess in this case, it's all your gear, all your items apparently. So I'm wondering how the catch-up mechanic will be. Or, can you brick your character early if you die early and lose everything? Like, how do you regain your strength? Number two is I like the high risk, high reward kind of gameplay system or structure that they have. Or at least that's my understanding of seeing it so far. Where if you survive long enough, whoever the witch boss, whatever thing, starts sending curses at you and starts sending stronger and stronger minions after you. So I'm wondering if it's a more proactive game where it's not like, the typical monsters are just waiting in the areas and then you just happen to get to these higher level zones and then you start fighting higher level monsters and elites and stuff like that. I wonder if it's them, like what they said in the trailer, they will actively seek you out if they feel like you've been alive for too long, basically, to really engage you and challenge you in a more basically they'll pressure you even more. So that's very interesting. I'm kind of scared about that, to be honest. I'm not like the best gamer out there. Actually, I'm not even a real gamer. It's in my about section. You can read about that. But it's such a cool little. It's a very little twist or a little change in the concept. But I think that little twist is enough to add a different dimension to the game. when you're actually playing the game. At least that's my assumption.
Traps the likes of which you have not seen. The world will change, adapting to your progress.
Okay.
This means more Witchfire to collect, but also more challenges to conquer.
So it's exactly high risk, high reward.
You find refuge in an old hermitage, enveloped in a fog that hides you from the witch's sight.
A bonfire.
From here, you will venture into her domain, trying to find the villain's lair. An enchanted mirror allows you to receive amazing inventions from the Vatican's gunsmiths. Here you can...
Sorry, I'm just gonna pause it there. I love the fact that Vatican and gunsmith is in the same sentence, just, you know, randomly spouting that out. So very cool. Sorry, that was just a little thing. Let me rewind a little bit here.
To receive amazing inventions from the Vatican's gunsmiths.
So you get like blessed
Here,
bullets
you
or
can
something?
also transform the Witchfire collected along the way into skills that become more and more powerful.
Metanoia.
This transformation does more than simply make you stronger. You also gain understanding of how magic works. Without this knowledge, many places remain inaccessible, and many magical objects are nothing more than a piece of paper with strange scribblings.
Wait. So you have to spec
Nation
into
does more than
knowledge?
simply...
Let me go back real quick here. So these are the stats: standard vitality, number and healing of potency, and potency of healing elixir. So you don't unlock your flasks in the world. You have to like spec for it, I guess. Endurance is the strength to continue executing particularly taxing maneuvers like dash, obviously like stamina. Witchery is the knowledge and mastery of spells. Metanoia is the ability to absorb witchfire. And then luck in dealing with the witch. So yeah, he said you have to like what do you call it? Increasing your stats help you understand the world more. So yeah, actually, now that I see it, there's no traditional strength, dexterity, intelligence, right? It's more it's witchery and metanoia. Actually, no, even metanoia is more for like absorption. So that's just like for farming, right? Resources. So it's more of like witchery and luck. There's no like put more stats into this to deal more damage. The classic stats, right? So that's pretty cool. I like that. I wonder how you could how the game will present itself, like how the builds will present itself rather, because it feels like you should just go eventually go all in on witchery until you can unlock everything, right? There's no other like stat to diversify. I mean, obviously you have your survivability stats, but once you feel like you've got that down and you can survive on skill as well, I feel like you just pump everything into witchery at that point, right? Unless there are caps. So yeah, it's okay. We'll see.
Magic works. Without this knowledge, many places remain inaccessible, and many magical objects are nothing more than a piece of paper with strange scribblings or a simple shard of iron.
I wonder if there's crafting in the game too.
Let's examine this weapon, made for the prayer in the Vatican workshop.
This is M1 Garand. Looks
You're
like an M1
unable to
Garand.
see through its esoteric shroud. It looks like a regular rifle. The more witchfire courses through your veins, the more secrets reveal themselves to you.
Oh, you
For
leveled up the
instance,
weapon?
It turns out that the aforementioned rifle can hit several enemies with a single shot.
Oh, that's cool.
This is how things are in this world.
That's how you progress.
Where common folk see nothing but a regular weapon, a seal with strange symbols, or a beautiful ring. A prayer recognizes brutally effective tools of death, spells based on one of the four elements.
Oh, there's spells, okay.
Or magical signets that allow him to use telekinesis or teleportation.
Oh, you
The
teleport
prayer's
through them and
task
then they
is
get...
simple. Kill the witch and recover the artifact she stole. However, simple doesn't mean easy.
Okay.
Luckily for you, the prayer has more tools at his disposal than superhuman powers or a magical arsenal.
Is it all ranged
Some
weapons?
of these implements are called the Arcana. Crystals that are created from witchfire in the most magic-infused spots allow the prayer to alter reality, if ever so slightly. Will you enhance your spells with new abilities, weaken all of the witch's minions?
Oh, this is the
Perhaps you will
passives.
prefer to improve your shooting skills for a short while.
All right.
Still,
Okay.
the most
Okay, let me rewind it a little bit here.
prefer to improve your shooting skills for a short while.
Let's see this. So rhyme shield, blood transfer, increased chance for a killed enemy to drop health. Okay, drop chance +3. So okay, yeah. So they have their own system of passive skills. So in Lies of P, it's like the P organ. Armored Core had the chip system, right? So I guess that adds more RNG to it, maybe. Or maybe the I'm not sure if the spells and the passives you unlock are static, or do they is it like a roguelike where it changes every time you die, maybe? Because if you wanna regain them. All right.
Still, the most powerful force the prayer can wield is not a weapon, a spell, a magical object, or even the arcana. It's the freedom.
The what?
When you embark on your journey, you set your own goals. Would you like to find and defeat the guard keeping watch over the witch's keys? Go right ahead. Or perhaps you prefer to steal some gold and return to the Hermitage. No problem. Why don't you test a new weapon?
That's a badass crossbow.
Witchfire to develop another skill. There's nothing stopping you. Every step you make during your journey marks a choice. You can rush into a huge mob of enemies and try to execute them in a frenzied dance of death.
All right.
Or opt for eliminating them one by one from afar.
Okay, I like that too.
Steering clear from a fight is an option, as is provoking more fights for bigger rewards. This freedom means that there isn't just one correct method to defeat the witch. The prayer is not bound by time restrictions, and the Vatican doesn't care what methods he employs.
Damn.
A sharpshooter's agile fingers, a tactician's analytical mind, or special powers and magical objects. You can pick, choose, and match freely to
there's a
achieve
lot
your
of guns.
goals.
Damn. Okay. And there's wait.
These are the bare.
I see purple. I see. Okay. So there are rare, and we have our epic items here, our rare items. So I see relic here, fetish. So those are like what you're. I mean, you have your rings here, so you have to wear rings, I guess, or like a seal to get spells. So you can only equip 2 spells so far. Weapons get up to 3 levels. Increased damage against enemies. So we have our first strike advantage over here. Critical hits, trigger a radial shockwave. So it's kind of like there's a bit of what do you call it? The gameplay is so it's first person, right? So it's like a Wolfenstein, like the old Wolfenstein, especially with the darker theme, with the magical elements. But there's also a bit of like ARPG mechanics here with the I'm assuming, right, the loot system, because you have like varying rarities for the loot, so varying degrees of power, and then you have it's not. Okay, there's a level as well, level 50 over here. So it might not be too deep in terms of like the loot progression and loot system, because I don't think there's any crafting, but so far I think it's exactly what it needs to be for the game that it's trying to be. It's not overly complicated, basically. Yeah.
Choose and match freely to achieve
There's a bunch of guns there. Oh, the relic, fetish, and ring.
Bones of Witchfire. Discovering the rest is up to you. But here's a final thought. The witch knows that the prayers are immortal. Her goal is not to kill you. Her goal is to take away your belief that she could be defeated. When faced with hardship, you decide whether to give in to despair or get back on your feet and resume the fight.
That's a cute way of saying get good.
Godspeed, prayer.
Get good, bitch. Alright, I'm more hyped for this game now. Early access out? Okay, that's interesting. I wonder how it's gonna work. Let's check it out right now. Wait. Oh, it's on Epic Games. Okay, so it's not on Steam right now. I'll check that later. I don't think I'm logged into my Epic Games account right now. But yeah, this is super interesting. I like it. It feels like it's one of those short but very precise games, kind of like Armored Core, right? Which is very appreciated. So it's probably what, a 15 to 30 hour game. Very not necessarily very short, but very precise, and it knows exactly what it wants to be. So that means we'll have more more clear clearer systems, and very very handcrafted experience. So I like it. As far as the actual gameplay is concerned, number one, the obviously the gun designs are really cool. Like I like the different styles that they have. This crossbow looks super cool with the sharp edges here. It's thick. It feels very weighty. And yeah, in terms of like the mechanics of the game, like the ballistics, right? The gun animations, the way it shoots, it feels very nice. Obviously, we have to play it to really get a sense for it ourselves, but even from the trailer, it looks pretty solid. Even the spells, right, and everything like that. The shotgun looks really weighty. The fucking sniper rifle feels very powerful, and that's just the base. The base scale, or the base level of the gun. We're not even we haven't explored or seen too much yet of the different ways we can level up the gun with the Witchfire. Give them different abilities, see how they how we can upgrade them, and how we get more powerful. And yeah, even the different spell effects seem really good. Going back to that cross with the lightning, nothing too crazy with where it's overwhelming and you can't really tell what's going on, right? Usually those kind of games give you a bad feeling when you're playing because you can't really tell. You can't react properly to what you're seeing, but this game has, at least as far as we've seen here in the trailer, the clarity is really nice. And so yeah, I'm a lot more excited for the game now. Seems very interesting.
You can pick, choose, and match freely to
might be one of those games where you can just one and done it, play it for a few days, have a good time.
You decide whether to give in to despair.
But obviously we haven't seen the bosses yet or anything like that, so we'll have to wait and see.